So what is Anaconda? Anaconda is a development platform, especially, although not exclusively, designed for data science and artificial intelligence. And what does that mean? Anaconda actually is a whole company responsible for a vast set of development environments for multi-platform development, and actually not only for Python but for other languages as R, Scala, and eventually others as Java, C++, C, etc. So the company itself, Anaconda, is not constrained to a specific technology or language. It actually is devoted to creating the means and products and services and solutions for development in general in order to facilitate the development, building, and sharing of software solutions worldwide. So the main objective of Anaconda as a company is to facilitate development of software products in general, although very clearly it has been a major contributor in Python and all Python derived libraries, environments, and tools. So if you look at Anaconda history, it has been founded relatively recently in 2012, so only 12 years ago. But certainly Anaconda today, and at least for the 12 years, has been the single major player in promoting, facilitating, and providing the needed tools for disseminating data science research and development, as well as artificial intelligence. So it has developed a lot of services, including educational services, but also cloud services and all type of professional development services. It also has developed finally standard solutions optimizable for each client in case of big companies that want to have contracts with Anaconda for taking care of development processes. But the central contribution of Anaconda to the whole worldwide community, especially in data science and machine learning development, has been its product. And the main product of Anaconda definitely has been the conda package manager and environment manager. So it's a combination of two responsibilities into one single product or software called conda, which turns out to be responsible for managing all types of development packages, especially in Python. And as you know, there are thousands of packages of Python independent packages, each one of them with their own communities and financiers and contributors, especially open source contributors. But not only Conda is a package manager, but it also is an environment manager, so that in your machine, locally or remotely, it's responsible for creating, configuring, and managing the environments for each of your projects, including the managing of the packages that you install and is then able to import to your Python projects or any other language project you choose to develop. So regarding the main product of Anaconda, we have actually two types of it. One is a graphical user interface package and environment manager called Anaconda Navigator, which is a graphical software that you may use for creating your virtual environments and managing all the packages you want to install in that environment. And also a command line interface called conda, which is a terminal or console software like many others that exist in other platforms that turns available a lot of commands and subcommands so that we can use on our terminal all features needed for creating and managing environments for each of our products, as well as to manage, install, and use the packages together with our projects. Not only external libraries packages for being ported to our Python programs, but also integrated development environments, some of them that actually come along with Anaconda distribution. But I insist, Anaconda as a company has a much broader mission, which is basically to promote and develop and increase the use of data science and machine learning technologies in societies. And it does that not only developing products, services, and solutions, but turning available those products, for example, the Conda application or the Anaconda Navigator, through Anaconda distributions, and all that open source products that can be extended and reused as base for other products at other companies. And that's what actually turns the open source development community much richer and broader than proprietary development initiatives. So now that we know what Anaconda distribution is, and that Anaconda Navigator and Conda is included on the Anaconda distribution, and what those two applications are, we now can also evaluate what type of distribution we want to install. We have the most complete distribution of Anaconda, which is Anaconda distribution, and we have a minimum installation distribution called Miniconda. So what's the difference between these two distributions from the same company? Both of them are created by Anaconda company, and both of them also have the Conda CLI application installed so that you can manage your environments and packages. But for example, in Miniconda, which is a shorter distribution, you do not have, at least by default, the Anaconda Navigator. So you only have the CLI application, which is Conda, but not the graphical user interface Anaconda Navigator. And also, and most importantly, the number of packages that come by default installed at that distribution. A distribution basically is a set of packages that you receive as default from that distribution. So with Anaconda distribution, you receive more than 250 packages of libraries and modules, mainly of Python applications that you can use to create your own applications, while in Miniconda you receive by default less than 70 packages. So the size of both these distributions are quite different. For the Anaconda distribution, you gotta reserve and download at least 4.4 gigabytes rather for installing Anaconda. Otherwise, you only need around 500 megabytes. So the size of the Anaconda distribution is much shorter, and it may sound at a first glance as an advantage, but I really don't think that. Why? Because especially for new learners, you actually won't know what packages you're gonna need for your projects. So I would advise you to download the complete distribution of Anaconda instead of downloading a minimum installation distribution and have to install a lot of other dependencies manually later. So we're gonna install the complete distribution of Anaconda, and after you install it, what should you use? The Anaconda Navigator, which is the GUI application, or the conda application, which is the command line interface application. Well, if you like terminal and command line interface, you will certainly prefer to use conda, although you can eventually play with the graphical user interface if you like. So you have both available, and you will be able to use either one as you like. I actually prefer the command line interface, not only for Anaconda, but for other environments or tools for development. So if you are really willing to become a true professional developer, certainly you'll also prefer to use the command line interface. And that's what we are going to use the most in this whole course regarding Python development. But I repeat, if you wanna just try or do any simple task using the graphical user interface, you're free to use it as you wish. So the environments we're gonna create and the packages we're gonna install or eventually import or download from elsewhere will be equally available through both types of applications. They both will manage the same environments we create and the same packages we get by default at the distribution or import from somewhere else to our local development environment. And here, as you can see, at Anaconda site, you have a lot of source of information that you may use to learn about Anaconda, about conda, about the libraries, both as the open source Anaconda libraries and packages, and also, for example, how to download them. We're gonna see in a moment how to do that, and we're gonna install everything from the scratch. You can use, for example, cloud services as remote notebooks. We'll see what a notebook is. It's basically an integrated development environment, in this case in cloud, so you can develop your projects online remotely at Anaconda Cloud. If you choose the free subscription, you will have some limitation for using it regarding the time you spend processing your code, but if you want to pay, you can develop anything remotely. So also at Anaconda Cloud, you have a lot of short classes courses regarding the development of data science and machine learning projects. You also have the community towards Anaconda and all Python community regarding all discussions about Python and Python libraries. and tools and services and solutions. So you have the community, you have forums for your doubts. You have also a very comprehensive documentation about everything regarding Anaconda products, especially Anaconda distribution, installation, or conda package and environment manager application, and all the CLI commands. You have some content about open source development and the open source products that are available both from Anaconda as from external communities. We have the conda specific community. You can then take a look at all that. And we have also some resources regarding Anaconda itself and the initiatives it finances. For example, a blog section, a podcast, some videos, webinars, white paper articles, and professional services, all related to Anaconda teams, product services, and solutions. So here you have Anaconda is the operating system for artificial intelligence, the world's most trusted open ecosystem for sourcing, building, and deploying data science and AI initiatives. So as I said, Anaconda is kind of a subsystem of your operating system as soon as you install it, specifically for developing data science and artificial intelligence, especially machine learning projects or initiatives, either locally or eventually remotely as well. It has 43 million makers and maintainers that use Anaconda in their products, and 1.8 million developers and contributors. So this is the biggest advantage of open source initiatives and development. You may have millions of developers working together in open source project instead of only 500 or 1,000 inside one closed company. And we have also 1 million organizations using Anaconda in their teams. So here are some of the lots of famous companies that use Anaconda platform. Citibank, Meta, ExxonMobil, and so on. And the application sectors basically are all AI and data science sectors. For example, financial services, public sector, healthcare, and manufacturing, and so on. So here is the main site and the main page for Anaconda company as a whole. So here you have all the products developed by Anaconda company. The main product is the Anaconda distribution that we've seen that comes with the navigator as well as with the conda applications for package and environment management. But they also have the cloud suite for the remote notebooks and also for storage, remote storage, AI assistance, and all that. It also has a data science and artificial intelligence workbench. Anaconda also turns available a package security manager if you want to subscribe to that, with all necessary security solutions for your company. It has the Anaconda Navigator, as we've already mentioned, the remote notebook integrated development environment, on-premises large language models or machine learning models. It's also developing some experimental products regarding generative AI and Excel toolboxes. So this is the whole Anaconda Hub with its main products. Here on the right, the professional services as well as Anaconda Learning. So here at Anaconda Learning you will find a lot of basic, intermediate and advanced courses. Some of them are free, some others are paid. So generally the basic ones are free and the intermediate and advanced ones are paid courses, but you can check that later if you want and take at least the free courses if you wish. And the professional services, which are the professional advanced services with Anaconda products that Anaconda as a company, as a development company, offers to big companies. Here are the plans. If you look here at the plans, you have the free plans and also some paid and custom plans. But these plans are not for using the products, for example, for using Anaconda distribution or for using Conda or Anaconda Navigator. You do not need to even register here. You can skip the registration as a whole and simply install, as we are gonna see, the Anaconda distribution and use as you wish all the products available from Anaconda. So these prices and plans are basically for the cloud services and remote services that Anaconda also offers additionally to its products. So you can download and use Anaconda products for free, and you can also use some of the cloud services and eventually attend some of the courses online for free, or you can make a subscription. Some of them are cheap, for $15 or $50, and for big companies then big companies will evaluate the pros and cons of paying Anaconda for more specialized and enterprise solutions and services and all that. But I repeat, all of these are not for using Anaconda distribution or Anaconda Navigator or Anaconda Conda application. For these, you do not have even to register at Anaconda. So if you go here to the Anaconda Learning, you see the whole bunch of courses, some of them free. You can filter here only the free courses and choose what ones you would like to take. And some others will demand a subscription. Some of these are directed to certifications regarding Anaconda products and so on. So just looking here, the free courses, these are mostly very basic courses, but you can browse them and take some of them as you like, for at least have the basic notions of Anaconda products, and later decide how to continue learning whatever product or specific library you like. So here are the products. Now here on the other tab you have the solutions regarding source, building and deploy, and also segmented into industry sectors: financial, healthcare, government, manufacturing, technology. But we'll not discuss these solutions. We want to discuss Anaconda products, specifically Anaconda distribution, and mainly the Conda CLI package and environment manager. Here at resources, you have the resource center with the blog section, podcasts, videos, webinars, white papers, articles. Here the developer resources with the libraries and packages available from Anaconda and from other developers or companies. You have the documentation here, very importantly. Let's see it already. You have here the whole documentation for Anaconda products, either the Anaconda distribution as a whole, as the Conda, CLI, the Anaconda Navigator, the Anaconda notebooks, and so on. So the whole documentation for all Anaconda products is here, docs.anaconda.com. You can learn a lot here later if you wish. You also have the support center for contacting Anaconda for any specific doubt or for contracting them. We have the learning center that we have already seen with the courses from Anaconda. We have the community where you can communicate with other developers for getting any help or for learning or for discussing any topic you wish regarding Anaconda products. And here at the open source sections, you have the open source packages. The big focus of Anaconda is regarding open source software development, so it gives a lot of focus on that, and actually it finances a lot of initiatives, especially, for example, the non-focus non-profit organization, which is responsible for promoting open source software development throughout community. So here you can read about the fundamentals of the main libraries that we may use with Python by using conda package and environment management. So the Jupyter Notebook, IDE, the pandas library, the scipy, the numeric Python library, some machine learning libraries as Keras, TensorFlow, PyTorch, and scikitlearn, data visualization libraries as matplotlib, Boken, Plotly, and HoloViz, and some others, image processor with Pillow, scikit-image and OpenCV, scalable computing with Numba and Spark, natural language processing with NLTK, Jensen and SpiceEye, and some other future visionary libraries for experimental new features and so on. So here you can read about some of the main open source software libraries available. And here at conda.org you can read specifically about Conda. Here just emphasizing that Conda is a packaging ecosystem that allows you to manage applications and libraries written in any language. As I said, it's not specifically for managing packages for Python or for managing environments for Python development. The aim of Conda and Anaconda as a whole is to offer you the best possible environment for developing in any language, including C, C++, Java, Rust, or Go, including Python and R, which are the two main languages used in data science and machine learning development. So also it's multi-platform, either for Mac OS, Linux, and Windows. And the main advantage of conda and Anaconda, as well as Python itself, is the community. Not only one, but a whole environment of communities that end up summing together all their force to create a vibrant community for development and creation of different and variable solutions and libraries for us developers to use. So you can read about all of that regarding Conda application here at the Conda community. Here at partners, you can take a look about the partners that finance Anaconda and Conda. For example, the big companies as IBM, Oracle, Microsoft, Azure, Teradata, Red Hat, AWS, and so on. So these are the companies that partner with Anaconda for promoting and financing the development of its products, solutions, and services. And here at the company tab, you can read about what Anaconda actually is. We are not just a company, we are a movement specifically dedicated to data science and machine learning, promoting worldwide with a big focus on open source development and solutions and tools for everyone to be able to develop and create their own solutions in data science and machine learning, either at scientific fields as at the industry. So Anaconda is rooted in open source development. It's enterprise ready, not only for small or experimental or academic solutions, but for big companies and industry level solutions as well. And they develop actually the whole foundation, not only for data science and AI, but for all future technologies related to artificial intelligence, with all their own libraries or through their tools or package and environment manager applications for managing all external open source tools and libraries available for data science and machine learning development. Here it talks a little bit about why you should choose Anaconda. All the best tools in one platform, and some numbers that I have already mentioned. And basically every company that works with data science and machine learning or artificial intelligence, which will end up being literally every single company in the world that aims to grow and or even subsist or survive the competition among others, they all will need to develop their own products regarding data science and machine learning, either customizing base solutions offered by companies as Anaconda or by developing their own solutions and tools regarding data science and machine learning. Here a little bit about the open source commitment of Anaconda, the dividend program, which is basically the financial program it has towards the non-profit organization funding, the open source development and maintains by Anaconda own staff. So not only it finances other companies and organizations for developing themselves new products, but it also actuates with its own staff and collaborators in a lot of open source development and maintenance initiatives regarding the main libraries at data science and artificial intelligence. And also it offers for free the access to individuals and small business companies for their products. So this is the way that Anaconda aims to help promoting data science and artificial intelligence worldwide, offering free products as open source products, as well as some free services and solutions for individuals and small companies, while partnering with big companies for growing and increasing their profit and capacity of innovating and creating new products. So this is Anaconda as a whole, as a company, and you can read more later for your own through any of these links. Regarding the open source commitment of Anaconda, just emphasizing here their commitment. Open source software has become foundational to tech stacks across a multitude of industries. As such, nurturing the health and vibrancy of the open source community is of utmost importance to us. Over the last decade, Anaconda has devoted tens of millions of dollars to open source innovation and project maintenance in the form of employee team, of employee time, direct donations, event sponsorships, and more. We believe that open source software holds the key to unlocking tomorrow's innovation, and we will continue to back this belief with active support. So this is an example of a private company that aims profit, but with a very big commitment in developing open source initiatives, developing small companies and individuals regarding the promotion of data science and machine learning and artificial intelligence as a whole, while partnering with the big companies for creating tomorrow's technology. So here again the dividend program, which is the way that they finance other small companies' initiatives for developing new products and development tools and libraries. For example, their participation with their own staff and professionals in open source development and maintenance of current projects, the empowering of individuals and small business, and the non-focus non-profit organization, which is the way that it finances these open source initiatives or small companies initiatives in promoting data science and machine learning. So here is a good article that you can read. You can take a look later. This is only the first page of the article. Here is the link of the full article that talks a little bit about the next decade of open source software development in the vision of Anaconda as a company. You can see the whole article here. It talks about lots of interesting views regarding the future and current challenges that data science and machine learning or artificial intelligence may face, and how to solve them. So you can have a general picture of the future of data science and machine learning reading this article. I advise you to do it. And finally here, the definition of Anaconda by Anaconda itself is that they are not just a company, they're a movement. Anaconda sits at the center of AI revolution. We provide data science tools, machine learning operations, and data and model management to empower our customers and community with AI capabilities to propel their projects forward. So the mission of Anaconda is not simply to create products, it is to promote and project forward the whole development community regarding data science and artificial intelligence development for the future of humanity as a whole. So the vision of Anaconda is a much broader vision than simply creating and selling a product for development. It's a whole philosophy behind that started in 2012, as I've already said, when Peter Wang and Travis Oliphant founded Anaconda. So only 12 years ago, Anaconda was created and has driven the whole Python development throughout these 12 years, especially in these few years of incredibly explosion of data science and artificial intelligence worldwide. So Anaconda now has 300 full-time employees worldwide and is proud to serve over 40 million users. And you can read more about it at anaconda.com/about-us. So now that we have already learned a lot about Anaconda, what kind of products it produces, what kind of solutions and services it offers, the participation of it regarding the promotion of the whole development community, especially in data science and machine learning. Now we can focus on Anaconda main product, which is Anaconda distribution, and at Conda package and environment manager, which is what we are going to install next and learn how to use, so that we can use Conda as a package manager and environment manager for our Python projects. So how to install Anaconda distribution, and along with it Anaconda Navigator and Anaconda Conda CLI application. We'll basically follow this sequence. Everything I'll suggest here for you to use at the installation comes from Anaconda official documentation. And actually I have already tested a couple of times before. Now I have uninstalled all my Anaconda distribution from my computer so that I can install it again with you in order to show you how to do it. So let's start now installing the complete Anaconda distribution in our machine. So first, before we go to the terminal, let me just explain you step by step here what we are going to do next. The first thing here is to install using apt, application installation manager, some dependencies that we might need to run Anaconda Navigator later and that are not actually included in Anaconda distribution, which are these dependencies. So we just have to use this command line at our terminal and apt will install all of them for us. Later, we will download using client URL dash uppercase O and the complete remote path to the shell archive of the latest Anaconda distribution, which is from June 2024 for Linux x86-64. If your computer has a different architecture, you should choose other distributions, as well as if you have Windows or Mac. Also, there are other specific distributions for you, and you can check that at this repo here, repo.anaconda.com/archive. Let me open here. So here you have all the Anaconda distributions that you may download for Windows and for Mac. For Windows, these are all graphical user interface auto installations that you can easily download the exe and click twice and install as any other software in your Windows computer. For macOS, you have the installations, shell installations or packages, standalone packages that you can choose to download. But for Linux, you have the shell installations, which are pretty easy to install, and that's what we are going to install. But you gotta pay attention in case you have a different architecture machine, which architecture you should use when installing the Anaconda distribution to your specific machine. So mostly at least 90% or more of machines will have an x86-64 architecture. And also another thing you gotta check is the version of the distribution, but if there's nothing against it, you should choose the latest one. At the time I'm recording this video, the latest one is from June 2024. But if you're watching this video later, you should choose the latest distribution of your current time. So just copy this part of the file, the version part, to this command line here. All the rest will be the same. And then we will install using bash and this file after we download it. We can use bash or we can use sh for installing this auto installation. And after we have concluded the installation, we will have to activate and initiate the conda application or the conda distribution in our system, through which it basically will add some configuration lines at the shell initiation script, so that when we open our terminal, Anaconda will be available for us to use to configure or create our environment at the shell sessions. And finally, then we will be able to choose if we want our terminal to at each initiation of a bash or shell session to auto activate the base environment of Anaconda. So if you choose here as true, using this command line here, after we install and activate Anaconda, every time you open your terminal, Anaconda will automatically activate the base environment for you to use already as soon as you open the terminal. So I actually don't like this option because I included do not use my terminal exclusively for creating or developing using Anaconda's environment. So I use my terminal for other things, so I do not like to have any environment auto activated. So we will choose to call this other command line here down below to turn this option to false. so that each time we open our terminal, we won't have the auto activation of the base environment. We'll actually have no environment auto activated by default. We will have to manually activate whichever environment we choose, and you will see that that's much better, because for each project we create, we will create a virtual environment for that specific project, and we will then activate that environment only when we want to initialize the development or get back to developing that project. So we don't need Anaconda to auto activate any environment, neither the base environment that we shouldn't alter. I'll show you that the best practice is to never change the base environment that comes with Anaconda. That's the base for any other environment you create, so you should not change anything on that, either add any file or any libraries other than the ones that already come with it. And for each project you create, then you create the respective environment and then alter or configure only those environments you yourself create. But you should not mess with the base environment. So it doesn't make any sense in having it auto activated for you if you will not use the base environment. You will use the other environments you create for each project you create. And finally, after we do all that, we can simply close and reopen the terminal so that we can load all the configurations that Anaconda will include at the bash rc shell initializer script, or we can use the source command to load that bash rc configuration file to the current session of our terminal already opened. So now let's open our terminal and simply use each step of these to install the latest available complete distribution of Anaconda. So you can open your terminal and simply paste that first command line here of our Anaconda distribution installation script. And actually we gotta add the sudo keyword here, the command sudo apt install, and then the list of the extra packages we gotta install here before we install Anaconda, and then press enter. In my case I had it already installed, that's why it took so much little time. Next we gotta download the auto installation shell file for Linux, which is the second command line there at the installation script. But first we should go to the download directory so that we download the file here. So just paste the command line with the client URL, which will basically download the file, and the complete remote link for the shell installation file, and press enter. So it's around 1 gigabyte, so it will take a while, and I will fast forward this for you not have to wait. Okay, now we've downloaded the shell auto installation file, and now we simply gotta run that file by using bash or shell along with the file. We are at the same directory where we downloaded the file, so we can use autocomplete here with the tab. So just use bash and the name of the auto installer. In order to continue the installation process, please review the license agreement, press enter to continue. Then you have the whole license agreement. Do you accept the license terms? Yes. Then it says Anaconda 3 will now be installed into this location. my home / Anaconda 3. I do not want it to be installed at my home, so you can choose a new location and type it here, root / opt / Anaconda 3. This is the place I like to install most of my standalone installations, not only for Anaconda, but for JDK and for other applications related to my development IDEs or tools. So I'll install here /opt / Anaconda 3. Okay, so it says that it could not create the directory. Why? Because it's a protected directory. So just add sudo at the beginning, and then it will be able to create that directory and install anything needed inside. So sudo bash and the name of the autoinstaller for installing the Anaconda distribution. Enter, continue, read all the license, accept the license, and now you can type the new folder path, which will be, in my case, root /opt / Anaconda 3. Now it's confirming the prefix where it's going to be installed, and it's extracting and installing all needed packages for the Anaconda distribution. So okay, now it's asking, do you wish to update your shell profile or the shell initializer script to automatically initialize conda? This option, actually you gotta choose yes. Not that you will keep the auto activation of the base environments, but because Anaconda distribution gotta add a configuration for exporting the path of Anaconda binaries to your base Linux path. So in short, just answer yes here at this question. So this will activate conda on startup and change the command prompt when activated. This is to turn available the change on the prompt at your terminal when you manually activate your environments for each of your projects. So you gotta say yes here to this question, and later, only later, you will set the auto activation of the base environment to false. But for this question, you gotta say yes, so that Anaconda is able to manage the change on the prompt when you manually activate your environment. So answer yes here. Okay, and then it confirms that it has successfully installed Anaconda. So now that we have concluded the installation, let's activate the installation by calling source /opt / Anaconda 3 /bin and /activate script. This script will activate the Anaconda distribution and append some configuration lines at the bash rc hidden file of the shell initializer at our home. So let's press enter, and it will activate also the base environment here for a first time, and then we can call conda init, so that through this command Anaconda can alter that bash rc file at our home, adding those lines, configuration lines, for each of our shell sessions. So let's see the file. Here at our home, you can see the, if you select here to show the hidden files, you will be able to see the .bash rc file, and if you open it and go here to the end, you will see the configuration lines that Anaconda distribution has added to this file, And basically the importance here is to have this path /opt/anaconda3/bin exported to our environment variable path so that we can call directly at our terminal any binaries or any executable commands from this bin folder here inside the Anaconda 3 installation, including, for example, the conda command. So basically what this activation does and initialization is to add these lines to this file. And now that we have finally activated and initialized it, we can finally set the conda config and set the auto activation of the base environment to false. So now we can source that bash rc file again, or we can simply exit, and you'll see that when we open again the terminal, it won't initialize the base environment as it would if we hadn't set this auto activate base to false. For example, we can set this auto activation to true anytime we want, and so that every time we open the terminal we'll have the base environment activated by default, but we don't want that, at least for now. So we've set to false, and you will see that I'll exit and then open the terminal again, and then the terminal will open the prompt here deactivated or with no activation of any environment, either the base one or any other custom environment we eventually had. So let's exit, and now let's open again the terminal, and as you see there's no environment here activated. Why? Because we have set the auto activation of the base environment of Anaconda distribution to false. So it won't activate any environment here by default, and if we want we can activate whichever environment we have, for example the base environment, although we shouldn't mess with the base environment for anything. So, and just for you to see that it's possible to activate it manually, either the base environment or any other environment you have the name to activate. Let's just test conda activate and the name of the environment base. Okay, now you have again the base environment activated, not as an auto activation but as a manual activation for this environment that you shouldn't use, or for any other environment you want. And for deactivate you call conda deactivate without having to pass the name of the environment, because it will deactivate the only currently activated environment, so you do not have to pass the name. So now it's deactivated. So we successfully installed. We also activated and initialized Anaconda distribution, and also we configured the auto activation of the base environment to false, and learned how to manually activate any environment, including the base environment, as well as how to deactivate any currently activated environment at our current bash or shell section. And we'll see a lot that for every project we create, we will also create a respective environment, and then we will activate that environment before managing the packages and the environment specifically for that project. We will not alter or change the packages for the base environment nor any other configuration for the base environment. So do not mess with the base environment, only mess with the environments you create for each of the projects you create at each specific folder. not at the base environment folder. Otherwise, you will end up mixing a lot of configuration and incompatible libraries inside the same base environment, and you'll have to uninstall and install everything again. Okay, and so now that we have concluded our installation of Anaconda distribution, let us now take a look at Anaconda Navigator. And how can you open or initialize Anaconda Navigator? If you go here to the installation folder at opt/Anaconda3, you have this binary folder here, bin. You can go inside and you have Anaconda Navigator executable script here that you can open if you open the terminal here inside and call this Anaconda Navigator as a command. But of course, especially because it's a graphical user interface program, we won't be initializing it as this way. So what we have to do, we gotta create a desktop shortcut or symbolic link directed to this executable file, and we do that by going to our desktop, open the terminal, and using any text editor, for example gedit, to create a text file, for example Anaconda-navigator, or whatever name you want for the shortcut, .desktop. So this extension here, .desktop, is mandatory so that Ubuntu can recognize the shortcut file as a shortcut or as a symbolic link to our Anaconda Navigator. So just open, and then we will paste this text content here, which includes the executable file complete path. In my case, it's /opt/Anaconda3/bin/Anaconda-navigator, which is that executable script that I've just shown you at Anaconda installation bin folder, and also the icon complete path for any PNG file that you want, and we will use this path here to an icon of Anaconda Navigator available at the installation folder /lib/python, and here the version may vary depending on the default version of Python included by default at the Anaconda distribution you downloaded. So if you downloaded a different version than mine, you should adapt here the path and check before if the file actually exists before you set in here at the shortcut configuration content. So let's paste it. I have already checked that the paths and files exist, so you just gotta save it and close the text editor and the terminal. And here is the shortcut icon. You can see it already, Anaconda-navigator.desktop. But in this case, as you see, it's showing a red X icon still for showing that the shortcut is not yet completely configured, because you gotta click the right button and select properties, then go here to the permissions tab and select this option here, allow executing file as a program. So just select here, and as you see, the red X icon has disappeared. Why? Because now we can simply click twice and it will open the Anaconda Navigator file at the installation folder /bin. But what we want is not to leave this at the desktop. we want to add here to the show applications section so that we can click at it when we want. And for that, we simply gotta move this shortcut file to a specific folder, which is here at the root folder, user, share, applications. And here you see that the whole content of this folder is actually of .desktop files or shortcut files. So we just gotta move this shortcut file to here, to /user/share/applications. And how we do that? Simply open the terminal and use sudo move home/desktop/ the name of the shortcut file and the destination path, which can be simply a dot to the current folder. So we'll use the sudo command to proceed with the command as a super user or a root user, then move, then the full path to the shortcut desktop file, and then the destination file, which we simply use dot to represent the current folder. So that's it. You can exit here, and now you see the Anaconda Navigator desktop file here, which is the shortcut file at the root/user/share/application. So every desktop file that you put inside here will appear at the show applications session here. Here is the Anaconda Navigator shortcut file or icon or symbolic link. And then for adding to the desktop favorites bar here, you simply click the right button and choose add to favorites. So now it's been added from this show application session to the favorites bar here. Down below you can move it to whatever place you want. I'll leave it here. And that's basically it. We can now open the Anaconda Navigator and check out all its features. So every time you open Anaconda Navigator, it will check if there's any update available from Anaconda. You can update or not. For example, here it's asking for me to update to Anaconda Navigator 2.6.2. I'll not select it now, but later I'll do. There's no secret on this. You can simply select yes, and it will update and initialize the application for you. So I'll choose remind me later. I just want to show you here the base functionalities of the Anaconda Navigator. And basically, as you can already see, it comes with some applications, inbuilt applications already installed, as I've already told you before. For example, the VS Code. This is not that standalone installation of VS Code that we have at our system. This one here, it's an inbuilt version or application inside Anaconda distribution. It has the PyCharm community, also not that standalone installation that we installed, but an inbuilt PyCharm community installation from inside Anaconda distribution. It has also the Spider IDE, as well as jupyternotebook and jupyterlab. Jupyterlab is a newer version of Jupyter, which seems more likely to an IDE, whereas Jupyter seems more like a browser, but both do exactly the same regarding Python codes and regarding all external libs that we want to import to our Python program. So we have Jupyter, we have Visual Studio Code, we have PyCharm, including PyCharm Community, which is free. We have Spyder, which is another IDE, which some may like. And we also have the RStudio for R language. And we may have other cloud applications like Watson and Oracle Cloud. And we may add other applications as well. So these are all applications that already come with Anaconda distribution. You can simply press launch on the ones that are already installed, or you can press install to install the ones that are not yet installed. And here, if you see, you have all applications. You can select only the installed ones, the not installed ones, the updatables applications, and you have on. And then on the right you have the only available environment, which is the base environment. That's why the base environment also comes inbuilt to Anaconda distribution, so that we can use it to open the applications that come by default. For example, here at Anaconda Navigator. So if you open any of these applications the way it is here, it will use the base environment and all the configurations of that environment and packages installed at that base environment to integrate that with any of these IDEs. But as I said, we should not work on base environment. So if you go here to the left tab environment, you will be able to see all environments with all the packages available or installed at them, and you also will be able to create new environments or clone or import or backup or remove any environments from your Anaconda distribution. So if we wanted, for example, to create a new project and for that project create a new environment, we would simply create another environment here, and then we would run that environment by clicking on the play button here, so that then if we came back here, we would be at that another environment. So we can select the applications we want to launch. We can select or manage the environment. That's why Anaconda Navigator also is an environment manager. We can select the channels. We are only using the channel defaults, but we can add other channels for downloading the packages we want. For example, SourceForge, which is the second most used channel for downloading packages from. But I'll just leave defaults here for now. Here, for example, whatever the environment you have here, you can add new packages and or delete the packages you have or update them. That's why Anaconda Navigator is also a package manager, because here at the packages section for that specific environment, you can, for example, look for other packages. You don't have in mind any package that doesn't come at the base environment, but just let's check here. The pandas, it's already installed. NumPy, for sure, it's also already installed. But if you have any package in mind that you would like to test installing, you would just look for the package here, select the installation, and it would install that for you at that specific environment. But again, do not install or delete any package from the base environment. Create new environments, and then at those new environments, custom environments, then you can manage whatever package you want or whatever environment configurations you want. You can see here also the Learn tabs for taking a look at educational content. You also have some community links that you can check out, and basically that's it. So this is Anaconda Navigator, a package and environment manager graphic user interface from Anaconda distribution.